Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another Pokken video. This time, we are going to be talking about the Croagunk knife. The Croagunk character that shouldn't exist in this game, in all honesty. Croagunk is a very weirdly designed character, to put it. He is an RNG-based character, and as you may all know, that can be either very fun to use, because you can get silly stuff, or it can be very infuriating to fight against. Croagunk is a very flawed character. It does not have any good tools to use. Okay, well that's a lie. It does have a few good tools. I guess I can get the positive out of the way. First off, its Duel Phase isn't too bad. It has this big move right here. That's very cool. It's a very big button, very quick button. The charge would actually also shoot the bomb out, which if you do phase shift with it, it does set it up there. And of course, obviously, it'll just do it like that too. I think his bombs are some of his coolest stuff that he has. He has other cool tools too in field phase. That's cool. His move goes under highs and other stuff. Not too useful probably as an actual attack because it like puts the bomb right here, obviously. So you have to have your opponent come to you, and if you're fighting a zoner, it's completely useless. And then his other really cool move actually is his neutral Y. His neutral Y sets up a little thing right here, and that blocks projectiles and can be jump canceled. And it's also like no scaling, so you could do cool stuff like that for like a good amount chunk of damage. And also it's chargeable. But anyway, you know, I talked about all the positives. Now here's all the negatives. I just want to get to the main point, which is his RNG. His RNG is not very exciting to look against. It's maybe fun to play with if you're doing it casually. It's kind of toxic, funnily enough. It ranges from super useful tornadoes that can make the opponent have to block a million times, and then they have to take a million chip damage. For example, he would do something like this a lot of the time if you were to get something good, and do lots of chip damage to you. Usually when you get the boulders, when you get the good stuff. Will I get the boulder? The funny thing about doing this video is I have to use the RNG to see if I can get the thing I want to talk about yet. There we go. There it is. And then you take all that chip damage just because you decide to block. It's kind of difficult to get through. You can do like a counterattack on the first hit and then try to dash forward, though for slower characters that might be a death sentence, like for Blastoise here. His RNG is either super useful or super useless, because his other stuff is a freaking rock. He can self-destruct, I think, or that sludge puddle too. That sludge puddle is actually one of the cooler things in my opinion. Or he's got time bombs, which like I mentioned are also pretty cool, but also they're kind of weird to use. Trying to find the explosion. Oh, of course I get a rock. I'm actually going to scream. Oh, never mind. Of course, that takes the one where I'm saying I'm going to scream. Okay, so yeah, that's the bomb explosions. That's all the RNG he has. Main things you want to win the actual match are the boulder and the tornado. Because what makes this RNG super stupid, and I'm only talking about the one move of his RNG, he has other moves too, is that when you're in burst mode and when you have red health rage mode, you have a higher odds of getting your chance of getting boulders and stuff, the better RNG, and that stacks with each other. So as you can see here, wow, I didn't get it first try. That's actually surprising. As you can see here, you get the thing, and when you're in burst mode too, you get more power, and rage is more power, so that equals more chip damage. So it just gets very toxic. What you should do if you're ever going to fight this character, for the whole 2 people out there who are probably still playing this character, heads up, if you see the opponent go into burst mode, do not go far away. Go up in their face. The only exception is if you're like a zoner, but even then maybe it might be good at the meantime to go up in their face, because if you are full distance, you're going to die. This is how Croagunk wins rounds. He gets hit so bad because all of his options are terrible, which I'll get into, and then he relies on his RNG to do lots of chip and then hit you with a cheeky hit to finish you off. Now, a lot of his projectiles don't actually finish you off. Mostly stuff in field phase, like this doesn't kill. I think the bomb doesn't kill. I think the bombs might kill. I'm not too sure. I'm not too familiar with all of it, but I know Poison Sting also doesn't kill. Oh, of course, it can be charged too, by the way, so that's how he gets even more chips. So if you want a good example of how much chip this could do to Blastoise, the highest HP character in the game, he did... He's at 660. That did like 1800, I'm pretty sure. That's how much this character can do from losing. He wins by losing. That is his end goal. And that is a poorly designed character to begin with. There's comeback factors, and then there's I have to rely on my comeback factor in order to actually play the game. So what makes this character even worse compared to where he has to rely on all his RNG moves? Well, let's see. His other RNG is not very interesting at all either. He has Poison Jab, which gives you a random buff or debuff onto the opponent or himself. Admittedly, how you would probably want to design an RNG character is to have moves that have multiple uses depending on the RNG. Now, Croagunk does have that, but those moves aren't very useful. So Poison Jab, for example, it would do that. That's a good example. So Croagunk has this move called Thief. I did the wrong thing. That's it. He has his move called Thief, and that will steal the thing from the opponent. Which is cool, and it can be used for other purposes too, which is probably one of his better uses, but you also have to rely, if they aren't buffing themselves, to land Poison Jab, and this is punishable on block, by the way. And also, you could debuff yourself. When you debuff yourself, you have this move. Frame 1 Invulnerable. It's a true DP. It's not like a counter DP like some other characters might have, like Lucaria's Extreme Speed. This is a true 100% Frame 1 Invul, and it's a release move. The problem is, it's a release move, so you have to charge it up ahead of time, and also you have to be ready with having 2 debuffs on you at the same time. Because if you have 1, it's not a true DP. If you have 0, it's obviously not going to be a true DP. And it's punishable on block, I'm pretty sure, when there's nothing on it. A lot of these things is super extremely specific. You have to have Poison Jab do this to you, or hope your opponent gives you 2 debuffs, which if they're playing a matchup, they might not do it specifically for that, unless you're like Chandelure, who loves doing it anyway, because it has other uses for Shandy. Croagunk kind of sucks when it comes to this stuff. And then finally, for his last RNG move, he has Acupressure. Yeah, that happened. Also, his HP lowered. It does give him synergy, so you can use it for that, but it gives him a random buff or debuff, or I think it's, is it 2? I think it's only 1, but still, either way, it's just like, you have this. Wow, my luck is bad, but it leaves him very wide open. Now, he can give himself a buff in a different way if he does give himself, if he puts himself on the wall like this. But it also leaves him wide open, and the buffs don't even last that long. Like, it's already running out, and I got 2 of them. So, not very useful all around. And then the last thing I want to mention for his, like, specific moves is that he has the Miguel Punch from Tekken. You probably know, y'all who play Tekken probably know what this is. Yeah, this. This gets affected by his RNG, and it does 200 base. Now, what would happen if you gave him 2 buffs? So, normally you can block this move, and I think it's punishable. Or he could also cancel it, too, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's the earliest you can cancel it. Now, when this happens, when you have double buffs, you can actually phase through the opponent's block, which I think is like, I forget how many moves are like this, but it can actually do that. Thing is, it's super slow. You're never going to be landing it. Even when you get a knockdown, your opponent has plenty of time to just stop doing stuff and just like jump away from it. So it's very reactable, as you can probably see and guess. So its RNG basically summarizes as either very useless or very, very stupid and not very fun to play against, because it's just like not very interesting at all. You basically just need to rely on the chip. Another situation it could be is if your opponent has debuffs on him, which conveniently I got there, because he has this move called Veto Shot, which does a lot of stuff. When you can see there, 220 altogether. So what makes this move? It's good, but it's also really ignorant. This is why I mentioned that his RNG is very, like, not very intuitive, not very fun to use, well, fun to fight against. It's kind of boring altogether. This also pierces when enhanced, and that's the reason why. Even the stuff that may be useful because of the RNG basically sums around to, hey, I have this enhanced mode, I'm just going to abuse all of it. There's nothing interesting about it. Everything about it is just, hey, I'm going to spam this stuff. And there's another move when they have double debuffs on them that they can just spam a lot and do lots of chip damage to you. Even when they only have 1 buff on them, it still does a piercing thing, even though it's not as big or powerful. Now, you may ask, okay, if he has all this stupid stuff, why isn't he, like, considered high tier? A lot of people consider him. Yeah, I agree. Like one of the worst characters in the game. Probably the worst, in all honesty. Even worse than Blastoise sometimes. And the reason for that is because he can't function anywhere else. I mentioned his field phase is decent. Okay. But his dual phase is a whole nother story. See, a lot of his combos are tough to do. For example, this is his main bread and butter. And you gotta do swim loops like this. And it can be very difficult because to do them optimally, you'll have to cancel after this move into your JY, which is another ignorant move I mentioned, because this move is just high. I control all the space and can be canceled into that. Forgot to mention that. But yes, it can be you have to basically cancel that after, which I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to even do because I'm not skilled at this character. You even have to like walk forward a bit too, which is kind of awkward. You can't just spam it like that right away. At least on Blastoise. Actually, you can stay still. You just have to wait for them to fall a bit. Oh wait, never mind. I guess this character does suck to do these. I guess is another point to mention that his jump cancels from this and 5Y are kind of awkward to do. They're kind of awkward. That's why it's another struggle, because you got to go instantly into these swim loops. Okay, so I kind of like give up at this point because I haven't been doing it for long, but it's just very difficult. I'll just show footage right now. But you just know his combos can be difficult to do them optimally. And as another reason for why his everything is bad, his other moves are not good either, besides his combos. Like his neutral tools. Like this is a cool move. When you hold it, you can change the angle. Sometimes you'll shoot bombs too, which are really cool. There we go. It literally took like 15 tries. It's weird. His RNG is so weird. Let's see. What other bad moves? Oh yeah, this move. This move is super slow. It's one of his, like, if you can actually land it, I think it's actually pretty decent if I recall, but otherwise it's just like you're never going to be landing it. The only time you'll be landing it is if the opponent's in the corner. And when you're a Croagunk, your opponent's never going to be in the corner because you're either going to be like full screen spamming this stuff, or you're going to be in your corner yourself because you're a trash character. So basically, this is where all his good stuff could be, is at the wall, and that's not going to be happening here. This character all around has many bad qualities. I could go on and on and on, and I'll just show one last thing to talk about for why his moves are all bad. His 8X, terrible. You can't get much off of it. The most you could probably do is this, honestly. And I guess 160 is bad, but having to rely on HP. Oh yeah, did I mention Poison Jab conceals him too? I think it did it there because it didn't do any damage at all. At least it didn't do any damage. So that is another awkward thing. And man, speaking of more about the combos, did I mention that this character has character-specific combos? And I mean very specific combos. So let me show you something. So yeah, Blastoise here. You do your counterattack, which is also a trash move, by the way. It puts him in the air and stuff, but you can land 5-way. Okay, cool. Now I can get like a full... Actually, I don't think you can get anything off that anyway. This character's so bad. Can you even do this? You can't. Wow. Okay, well, now if I get another character... Look at Croagunk just looking up at Machamp. He's like, I'm about to freaking perish. All right, now we take Machamp here, and we try to do the same thing. It doesn't work. His counter, if you ever land it, has a lot of character-specific combos. And not even cool ones like Blastoise and Poleon have. It's just he doesn't need it, and his combos are already difficult to do enough. And if you want to even be shown more inconsistent stuff, look at this. Wow, would you look at that? Sometimes the back hits of certain characters can be very awkward, and well, that just goes to show you that his main bread and butter tool they have to use to get combos and big damage, it can be inconsistent like that, because this is like actually like JY is another ignorant move of his that he likes to spam a lot, and so is 8Y a bit, because he can especially jump cancel. But this is all just, it just shows how inconsistent he is, and it's funny because it's like for the RNG character, but it's not in the ways they wanted him, probably. Yeah, that basically summarizes this entire character. This move sucks, this move sucks, this move sucks, all his RNG moves suck, or are very overpowered. He's very uninteresting. I keep using that word. And I know a few ways of what to make this character do to make him more interesting, honestly. I've discussed this idea a few times with Mutator. Special thanks to Mutator for helping me like fact check all this. I've come to the conclusion that him being a bomb RNG character would be much more cool for him. He already has a few bombs. He has a rock could be one of his bombs, I guess, if you want like the worst variation of it. He has the time bombs. He has the self-destruct. If I can, well, I can't even get them, but you know what? The sludge pool could be a type of bomb. And there could be other stuff too. There could be like a tornado bomb, like I guess kind of like this, but not like the one that he has already. Like probably one that just forces the opponent to jump. That could be a fun tool to use. Not too sure if that tornado bomb idea is actually a very cool thing or would be another toxic thing. I don't game design, which is why I make a moveset crafting series. But this just probably a lot better than what he already has. And Poison Jab and his other moves, Acupressure, do not help him with his RNG. He's just altogether very, very bland as an RNG character. And I would probably have to put him as like one of the worst designed characters in this entire game. And there's not many badly designed characters, but this one is a big extreme. And it's kind of saddening because I know a lot of people were very excited to play as like, ooh, I get to play as the goofy Croagunk guy. And then he just turns out to like be like a very awkward mess who has to rely on chip damage from RNG and getting a few hits while sucking in neutral, having to rely on his burst mode in order to get said RNG to be super good. If you put any pressure on this little gunky lad who's just sitting in the corner like this, he dies. He has the worst tools to get out of any given situation for pressure. And like his jump is kind of awkward. It's very short, kind of, I guess, kind of fast. And he has these moves to help with it. But if you just keep on the pressure, he can't do anything. He can rely on burst to get out. He can rely on this move to get out, I guess, which is a red armor move. But like I said, if you just block it, he can punish him. And a lot of characters can bait it out. Like Sceptile, for example, he could do his 5Y and then jump cancel it and avoid it and then punish Croagunk for doing that. Or he could rely on this, which is Foul Play, which is, I guess, I think another thing I could show real quick as being kind of cool is that Foul Play is a counter move. I literally tried to wait for it, and it just said no. Anyway. I missed it! Oh, I'm just throwing rocks. Where do I keep these? Don't tell anyone. Where do I keep a tornado in my pocket? I don't know. It's called pocket space. Okay, third time's the charm. This character. This move. He could do cool stuff like that with his own bombs, and obviously that works for other attacks. But it's not for him one. and it leaves him very wide open. It's probably the worst command counter in the entire game, and along with one of the worst counterattacks in general in the game. You can't even get that on Machamp. That's usually what people have to do. That or this. And it's just like, I guess it knocks him down or whatever. I'm going on and on. I'm going all over the place. But this character just all around, fittingly enough, is all over the place, and it's just bad. There's one tiny cool thing he has, I guess, is his movement. Kind of cool, I guess. Like, he has this he could use for movement. He could use this for movement. He can cancel into a glide with his cheek puffing technique. Frogs are weird. But then that also leads to another toxic thing, and that his air burst attack is frame 1 invulnerable. So that's fun. Anyway, I guess to finish off this video, because I am running out of things to talk about, let's just do all a salute along with me, everyone. See you guys next time.